I think we as humans are going to rethink what it is that we as humans are providing.
Physical AI will embody robots of every kind in every industry.
Should we disclose I'm using AI to generate this content?
I think it's important for people to know when they are interacting with an AI system, but I think we're rapidly moving to a situation where you should just assume that AI was probably involved at some point in the process.
Hello everyone, I am Marcelo De Santis, host of the TheTechSeries. Today we are in Toronto, Canada, to meet an extraordinary leader, Mike Mason, Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer at Thoughtworks. So what's your favorite sport?
It's not pool. It's clearly not pool.
Thoughtworks is a global technology consultancy that delivers extraordinary impact by combining design, engineering, and AI.
The world's leading companies are using simulation to train their robots in a virtual training environment and give it millions of years worth of experience.
So we're going to be walking in the street and we're going to be like Star Wars with R2-D2 and things like that, do you think?
Maybe.
With over 10,000 employees across the globe, the thought leadership set trends and is featured in publications like The Looking Glass and the Tech Radar. Are you curious? Let's go meet Mike.
What's the next level that humans need to provide? How will we define our own usefulness?
Good day everyone, I'm Marcelo De Santis, host of the TheTechSeries. Today I am with Mike Mason, Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer at Thoughtworks. Mike, thanks for being in the show with us and thanks for hosting us here in your office in Canada, Toronto.
Very happy to be here and welcome.
Mike, let me tell you something. I mean, Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer is maybe one of the hottest titles and roles in the industry at the moment. How did you get into this role and what do you do for Thoughtworks?
Well, it's kind of interesting that it's one of the hottest roles because we made it up 2 years ago when the new wave of generative AI was kicking off, and it became very clear that we as a company and as an industry needed to pay more attention to the new AI trend and to move faster on it. So my role has always been about getting the company up to speed on generative AI and more broadly, AI across all of the different use cases, and then bringing that to our clients.
Large language models, generative AI, small language models. We heard about DeepSeek. Help us to put all those things together.
We are actually at the very early stages of this AI revolution, and things are moving very, very fast. So large language models are the kinds of things that OpenAI, Anthropic, Amazon, other large companies are building. They give the best, for some value of best.
The best for this week.
The best this week, yeah. So they give the best result, but they're expensive to run, to create. They're expensive in terms of energy. Small language models are interesting because there are a number of different techniques and they're evolving over time. A big example of this that we're all seeing at the moment is Apple Intelligence, where Apple is taking these larger models and condensing them down into a form that can run on your phone. And that's useful because if you want to use generative AI for personal information, Apple has a very privacy-forward stance, which I think is commendable. That data just stays on your phone and doesn't go anywhere, and so you need to be able to run that model there. DeepSeek made it a splash for a number of reasons. First of all, DeepSeek is a model from China, so obviously it attracted some interest just for that reason alone. It was very capable, it was very interesting technically. The DeepSeek engineers needed to work around limitations in the NVIDIA chips that they had because of export restrictions to China. And actually the rest of the AI industry has looked at what the DeepSeek engineers have done and are starting to apply that to their own models. I think we're going to continue to see this over the next few years, frankly, is that companies are competing strongly with each other for building models, and they're going to leapfrog each other and come up with new capabilities all the time.
Wow, Mike, this is a super nice working space.
Thank you.
How did you get this office done?
I mean, I wasn't involved. I think we just have fantastic people who love making great spaces for us to be in. I think it's a good example of a Thoughtworks office.
And I can see a lot of, recreational activities for the Thoughtworkers. Do you mind to play this?
No, let's
I'm
play
an
that.
expert.
Oh, you're an expert?
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
Oh, you're going to beat me? Okay.
I
all right.
think so.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, why not? Look at this. I was trained by LeBron James. Look at this.
James rises up. Three-pointer's good. James a three. Puts it in.
Almost there.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Mike! Thoughtworks and yourself have been looking at AI for many, many years, right? I mean, tell us, what is different now? Because I hear so much stories around AI, so much hype, right? What's different?
I guess ChatGPT 3.5, 2 years ago, that was the big watershed moment where everybody started paying more attention to AI. But before that, we had machine learning, something that we've been doing for years, which is building complex algorithms that learn how to do things like image classification and all sorts of sentiment analysis, all sorts of stuff. But the thing about generative AI was it was suddenly really accessible. You would be in the barbershop and somebody would have a conversation with you about, hey, did you see this new AI stuff? And everybody was talking about it. So suddenly it was no longer the realm of PhD data scientists. It was something everybody could do. And so I think that has created the interest. And then the other thing that we're seeing is genuine capability within these AI tools to do useful things, and to do useful things in ambiguous situations, which is something that traditionally you needed humans to handle ambiguity, whereas now we have more capability within AI tools that can take a situation and try to make a reasonable decision for us.
You mentioned that your role is to enable AI within Thoughtworks and also with your clients. What kind of things are you doing with clients and AI and generative AI these days?
So we're doing a lot of work with clients where we are helping them to open up the information that they have within their organization and make it more accessible to their people. So an example of that is with Bayer. They have a whole bunch of preclinical trial data within the company that's stored in various databases and data systems across the firm. And when we started working with them, that data was kind of siloed, and we helped them build a data mesh to liberate that data and make it more accessible across the organization. But once we had done that, we then put generative AI on top to make that data much more searchable. So employees could find experiments that they as a company had done previously and maybe avoid doing another costly experiment where they already had that information somewhere in their systems. So I think that's a good example of using generative AI to surface knowledge that an organization already has.
I think the first thing you got to do with AI is get started. Like seriously, actually start using the stuff. People tend to be nervous about it, right? Like, oh, I've got to use AI in a specific way or whatever. But actually just getting going and seeing, does this work for me? Can I do this with it? This doesn't work so well. Like getting started and experimenting with it is really important. From an organizational perspective, yeah, there we go.
Oh my God.
So from an organizational perspective, we all need to make it possible for our employees, our colleagues to use AI in a responsible way. So actually providing an authorized AI tool. So if you're just, tell people they can't use AI, well, they're just going to use it on their phone or whatever. So it's much better to actually provide, a proper allowed AI tool to all of your people.
When we use AI in companies and we intentionally use it to produce content, should we disclose I'm using AI to generate this content, or we shouldn't?
I think it's important for people to know when they are interacting with an AI system. When it comes to work product within an organization, I think it probably still is important to know whether AI was involved in producing it. But I think we're rapidly moving to a situation where you should just assume that AI was probably involved at some point in the process. So at Thoughtworks, from a client services perspective, we build a ton of technology solutions for our clients. So we're using AI tooling in the ways that we build software. But across the company, recruiting and HR, we have a legal team, all of those functions are now incorporating AI into what they do. Our sales teams have a new AI tool that allows them to very easily find previous work that we've done for other clients and to find stories of how we're helping our clients and creating an impact. And we're even using AI to help us respond to client interest and create proposals. All of those kinds of things are ways that AI is helping us across the firm.
So we can talk to Adam here. He's
Hey, Adam.
Hey.
He's one of our developers, and he's writing code here, but he's also using Gemini. We mentioned providing AI tools to ThoughtWorkers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the current client, there's a problem I'm working on to essentially check that external services are working. It's the kind of task that I can do myself. It will just take a fair amount of looking at the documentation, getting familiar with things. Using Gemini actually this morning to produce a class I'm working on here, it gave me the kind of shape of the code I needed that probably would have taken me an hour or two just to figure out and make sure it's working. It gave me that in what probably took about a minute to write the prompt.
Right.
And from there, then just get it to generate some tests, and it gives you the general shape, it speeds up, and probably, I've got 2 hours work done in probably 20 minutes this morning.
Let's say fast forward 10 years from now, and I wake up in the morning, I go and prepare my coffee, maybe not. How is life 10 years from now?
So I think one of the things that's happening is that we are going to get to a world of physical AI. So there's a lot happening in robotics, and what's really interesting is the world's leading companies are using simulation and machine learning to train their robots. So you can put a robot in a virtual training environment and give it millions of years worth of experience of the robot walking up a hill or slipping on something and needing to recover itself, and then run that at warp speed by applying lots of compute power to it. And so we're starting to see robotics systems that are kind of physical AI that is much more advanced and moving very, very fast. So I would imagine, you talk about your coffee. Seriously, it might well be that you have a home robot of some kind that is doing something for you in the next 10 years.
So we're going to be walking in the street, and we're going to be like Star Wars with R2-D2 and things like that, do you think?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I was in a hotel in China last year, in Shenzhen, which is the high-tech capital of China, and they had a little robot going around the hotel delivering room service to people, and it would make funny noises at you. At the NVIDIA conference recently, Disney has produced these robots for the Disney parks, and they're these cute little robots with this kind of cool animation, and the head moves exactly like the in-movie characters, and it was incredibly expressive. Like, you could connect with this thing emotionally, even though it's kind of just a silly robot. And so I think we're going to see more of that. robots on the street. I think there will be rules about when can you put robots out, how much safety do they need to have. So yeah, I think physical AI is going to be a big trend. I also think AI for knowledge work, as we mentioned, is going to continue to get better and better. I think we as humans are going to need to rethink what it is that we as humans are providing. You know, when we bring our expertise and our experience to a job, if knowledge is no longer a differentiator, and if AI systems can start to provide maybe wisdom, you know, what's the next level that humans need to provide? How will we define our own usefulness when AI systems get smarter and smarter? Or will we hit some kind of AI glass ceiling where, you know, the intelligence, we get to a point where we realize AI systems are good at these things, but actually there's other stuff over here that it can't do.
Wow. What's your take on children, education, and AI?
I'm actually worried that kind of the world of education is not really ready for AI. Like, I've spoken to a few people at the university level around AI and software engineering, and I was kind of worried about their lack of understanding and lack of starting to integrate this stuff, because it's here. We can't put the genie back in the bottle. And so, like, teaching people what is the right way to use AI for learning, like, what does it mean when you can get AI to write you an essay? Do you still need to be able to write an essay? Do you need to critique an AI created essay? AI is really going to reshape how the world works, and I think we all have to be paying attention to that. I think it's kind of difficult to predict exactly what things are going to change.
How do you lead others when things are changing every other day, literally, and ambiguity and uncertainty are at the top of the agenda?
I think my style is one of trying to, embrace the ambiguity, to say, we have a certain amount of information, we don't have all the information, you're never going to have all the information. To surround myself with experts and give them the space to experience deeply a situation, and to especially in the AI world, and then to try to chart a path forwards using usual leadership techniques, painting a vision, building a coalition of the willing, all of those kinds of things in order to bring people along. I don't try to say I have all the answers. I actually think I really don't. I think I'm a great synthesizer of what other people are telling me, and I try to foster a team where I have that set of experts who can give me really good information, and then I can kind of pull that together into patterns and try to help paint a way forward.
When Mike is at his best, he
is optimistic and elevating others. I certainly have a lot of imposter syndrome, I get very nervous about things that I do in work. I was at client meetings yesterday and I was very nervous, internally. Intellectually, I understand I'm probably going to do a pretty good job here. And actually this meeting with this client, or this presentation at a conference, people they take the meeting because they want to hear from you. They want you to do well. People don't go to a conference talk and hope that the speaker does a bad job, right? Like, everybody is on your side. When I'm at my best, I think that I'm helping other people get beyond that problem that we all have with the imposter syndrome, helping people feel heard, helping raise their perspective and make sure that we're able to take advantage of that.
And when Mike is not at his best, he...
So I am fearful and I am glass half empty. I actually think a lot of humans, like we are wired to sort of look for the negative, because that was the thing that kept us alive for millions of years, hundreds of thousands of years, however long we've been around, is to react to the negative, you know. So if there's a noise, maybe it's a tiger, you know, right? Like, so the people who thought maybe it's a tiger and 90% of the time it wasn't a tiger, they're the ones who are still here, right? The people who said, it's fine, they got eaten by the tiger 1 time out of 10, right? So like human beings are wired sort of to the negative. Personally, I know this about myself. I find it very easy to fall into that trap of kind of negative thinking, of the worry, of catastrophizing. You know, when one small thing isn't quite right, I can quite often decide, oh, everything is terrible, you know. And that's not a good quality about myself, and I know that, and I have to work on that.
So Mike, thank you for joining us. This has been an amazing, amazing conversation.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
And to the ones watching the show, please subscribe and share with your network. This is the Tech Series, where innovation meets humanity. Well, we got a masterclass on artificial intelligence with Mike Mason. Many, many things to share with you after this amazing interview. The first one is I'm very positively surprised that AI is already delivering business value. There is a lot of discussion about the return on investment, and Mike has shared what he and his team are doing for companies in the pharmaceutical industry to reduce the time and cost of the research development process using generative AI. Likewise, Mike shared with us that Thoughtworks is using AI within Thoughtworks to support their operations and their marketing teams, and most importantly, to support the software engineers so they can spend more time in higher value activities for their clients. Better software, much more secure software, and software engineers that are augmented and not replaced by AI. I do fully agree with Mike's advice about starting now. AI is evolving daily, and if you wait too much, you're gonna be left behind. Companies should start to experiment with small proof of concepts and then really understand what it takes to scale those solutions across their organizations. From the leadership perspective, Mike is an excellent human being. He's a servant leader. He's always looking forward to make people around him better. And last but not least, people like Mike make companies better, but also make this world a better place. Thank you for joining us today. This is the Tech Series, where innovation meets humanity. Subscribe, share, and I see you in the next episode.
My wife and I, we do CocktailGPT, where we open the liquor cabinet and we say, what spirits do we have? And then we ask, you know, maybe a couple of AI tools, what can we make? 2 years ago, those suggestions were pretty bad. Now the AI is getting better at understanding like what makes a good cocktail and in what combinations.
This is my time.